After Kylo Ren killed his own father, Han Solo, aboard Starkiller Base in The Force Awakens, he would have to live with both the emotional and physical consequences of the horrendous act he had committed. Even his master at the time, Supreme Leader Snoke, told Ren that the deed of killing Han Solo resulted in a prominent wound that split his spirit to the bone. In The Last Jedi, Kylo Ren would have another chance to kill his own remaining parent in the form of his mother, Leia Organa, but hesitates, and unlike with his father, does not go through with it. The reason for this moment of hesitation and why he doesn't kill Leia is shown in detail in the novelization of The Last Jedi. Leia, who was on board the Raddus alongside Akbar and the other Resistance leaders, watched as 3 First Order ships pursued them from behind. Leia immediately went cold and fumbled for a chair and fell into it. The Resistance officers' worried faces all turning in her direction. Her mind had sensed a familiar presence in the Force, and it was one she knew intimately. A presence that had once been bright, but turned black as space, becoming a soundless scream of rage and hate. She knew instantly that it was her son, Ben Solo. Leia tried to stop herself from being drawn into memories, even as she knew she wouldn't be able to resist. Her son had been stolen from her and Han by Snoke's promises and Luke's mistakes and his own furies. Ben Solo was gone. He had become Kylo Ren, champion of the First Order, leader of the Knights of Ren, and his father's murderer. As Kylo banked his fighter, which was a prototype TIE silencer with a night black hull, he ordered the First Order TIEs to target the main bridge. He knew his mother would be there, because it wasn't Leia Organa's style to lead from the rear. For a moment, Kylo let himself recall Han and Leia's worried conversations behind closed doors, the ones in which they talked about him like he wasn't their son, but some kind of monster. He realized they were terrified of him, so they got rid of him by sending him away to his uncle Luke to train as a Jedi. He verified that his torpedoes were loaded and armed. His mother was indeed there. He could feel her familiar presence in the Force, and he could sense her determination and focus, along with sorrow and worry. He told her through the Force that it was too late to be sorry, and that she was right to worry. His thumb hovered over the trigger. Leia's anxiety pulsed in the Force, in this last moment before her death, but surprisingly she wasn't afraid. She was worried not for her own self, but for him. She wasn't angry at him at all, and she ached for him to come back to her. Kylo pressed the trigger slightly, but not quite enough to fire, and then lifted his thumb. He couldn't do it, but a moment later, Kylo's wingmate fired. The torpedo sheared through the bridge of the Raddus and exploded. If Kylo had known, he could have stopped the torpedo, freezing it in space with a thought, but he had been surprised. Now he couldn't sense his mother at all, and the shock had shattered his focus, leaving him breathing hard behind his fighter's controls. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video and learned something new, feel free to like and subscribe. And remember, the Force will be with you always.